like to request Dr. Balaji AC to please come on stage. Visual Educator, Bahrain Polytechnic, Kingdom of Bahrain. Sir, please come on stage.
Hi.
I would like to call upon stage Captain Preetham Madhukar. Can we have a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Founder and CEO, Skill Beyond Education. Miss Ritika Subhash, founder, the Parent Academy. Mr. Arun Sreelalan Iyer, visiting professor, product management, core team member, NASSCOM product management consultant. Sir, please come on stage. Ms. Mansi Srivastava, principal, Kipina Kids Indonesia, a Finland International School. Can we have a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Dr. Balaji will join us virtually.
So good evening everyone, and thank you so much for staying with us through the day. We've had a day full of talking about work and education, so let's talk about play for a change, right? All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So while we have the meeting set up to invite our remote participant to join us virtually, I will ask the participants of the panel to take a quick moment to introduce yourself. Could you go ahead, Preetham?
Hello everyone, I'm Captain Preetham Madhukar, former Sea Captain. And in 2012 I was seeking new education for my son, and I was not happy with the way current education was, and I came across something called the Waldorf education. And that inspired me to take a look at what other ways that we could educate children, and got me on that path of spiritual-based learning, a system where a child is given a lot more importance. We've been speaking about that. And I also ran a home school for these youngsters. We have a small family. We started our own home school, and giving this kind of Waldorf-based education with a lot of hands-on learning. It could be farming, could be carpentry, could be outdoor playing. And this is my background. After sailing, this kind of stirred me that something had to be done in education. Just like many esteemed guests here, my journey's been shorter. Since 2016 is when I started getting more active in education space. And my role has been after that is how to improve the education, especially on the ground level, how we can give good quality education. And playing has been one of the things that I've been actively promoting, not just for early childhood, like how it is here, but also for adults and young adults, that when we play, we bond together. Just like when we play, we remember all our school friends or from our neighborhoods. And that's the intent of my sharing here today.
Absolutely. We'll deep dive
of course
deeper into all of those topics.
Maybe I overran.
Not at all. Not at all. Over to you, Ritika.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ritika Subhash. I am an EdTech professional and also the founder of the Parent Academy. In my previous life, which I think is eons ago, I was an engineer. I worked in the IT consulting space in the US. I studied and worked in the US for many years. And 2010 is when I decided to come back. And ever since then, I've been in the education sector. Ever since I became a parent, I got very fascinated with parenting and understanding the ins and outs of it. So this whole thing around really learning what conscious parenting is all about has been on my mind for the last 10 years, which I gave shape last year. I founded the Parent Academy, a place where I talk a lot about conscious parenting. And some of the glimpses I'll show you today. But play has been integral to my life. My fondest memories are around play from my childhood. I've bonded with my son through play, and I think play is something that is inextricably woven in all our lives. So we'll talk about all of that today.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you, Ritika.
Hi everyone, my name is Mansi and I've been in Indonesia for last 22 years. Before that I was working for Bharti Telecom in India and teaching was never something I liked to do. My dad was a professor in Delhi University and he always told me that's the best line for ladies. But I said no, I'm not going to study the whole life and then teach. But I think life had some different plans for me. And when I went to Indonesia, I just wanted to do something, go out of the house, do something, because there were not many choices because of language limitation. But now, after 15 years of being in education field, I think this is the place I belonged. I love children. And yes, definitely, I'm working for a Finnish school right now. So our pedagogy is play-based learning. So we'll dive into more about learning about how we play and learn.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll move on to Balaji next. Balaji, could you share a few words about yourself?
Hi. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
This
Now
could
it's
be
much
the
better. Please go on.
very first question, when we say that everything goes online, even before greeting the panel member, I'm forced to ask this question. So how is it sounding now? Is it good?
Yes, yes. Please go on.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So my wishes to all the speakers today and Karthik and Edu Talk World for this opportunity. I'm super excited to be part of this very exciting track. Myself, Dr. Balaji, and I come with 24 years of experience in the field of animation, development, and training. My larger interest goes for design, and design, when we say or define, design of any kind. Okay, so that's what my interest is largely, and I do write research papers which are connected to the interest of children. So I largely connect with children, play with them, do a survey, understand what is their interest in terms of animation space. So that's how I believe I'm connected to today's panel. As we go ahead with the discussion, we'll open up with my background further.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Balaji. Have you noticed that we've been talking about technology, we've been talking about misuse of ChatGPT, which is the latest and greatest buzzword in AI, and so on. But anyone who's ever tried to deliver a presentation at a client's site or something like that, we still struggle with getting the presentation to project and to have audio issues and things like that. So we could be sending people to space and we could be getting computers to talk, but we still can't get presentations to work. Anyway, moving on. So my name is Arun Iyer. I'm a product manager. I've been a product manager for a long time and worked with both large organizations like Microsoft and McKinsey and smaller startups like Ola. I currently lead a startup in the intelligent AI/ML based document processing space. I also am a visiting professor at several B schools, including IIM Calcutta, IIM Trichy, and several others. And I work with NASSCOM's product skills development team to upskill 50,000 product managers over the next few years. That's in line with the Prime Minister's Skill India mission. So today, let's talk about play and creativity and how that is essential not just for childhood learning, but for all of our ongoing learning, even as adults. So, quick question to Mansi, or maybe Preetham, you could start and then we could move to Mansi. What do you mean by, what do you mean by play and creativity? What is play and creativity?
Play is something that we always keep doing. I mean, especially as all of us have been children at one point. All of us have been children at some point in our life, and one of the things that we remember is the games that we would have played, and maybe we don't even know that person's name much. Maybe we don't even know their family, whether he has got a brother, sister, but we just remember the moment that comes, the play that comes. And one of the things that we've been talking, right through the day has been about AI and how it's going to be also a disruptor. But the social emotional learning that comes from play, that comes from human interaction, that creates that fun element of wanting to meet another human being and being in their presence, play does it very easily. Of course, there is trauma as well when we are bonding together because of trauma, but nobody wants that it happens by chance or whenever it happens. But play is something that you can control the environment, you can nurture it so that there is both structured, unstructured play, and we can really nurture human beings over there.
Absolutely. Mansi, any thoughts?
Okay, I'll just like to say that play makes everybody happy. Do you remember when you were young, what did you play? Sometimes we forget what we learned, what we studied in our books, but there are some games which we love to play. So as children, as small children, where I teach children from 2 to 6 years old, for them, play is everything. It's about imagination, creativity, something they can express, socialize, and do everything what is needed. So I think play is a very, very, very important part of a child's development. And as Captain Preetham said, it doesn't limit to only early childhood. But even as adults, when we have those icebreakers, it makes us happy. Because what we are doing, we are playing, we are enjoying. So when you enjoy, you learn more. So the Finland philosophy also says, happy kids learn better. So that's what we are aiming at.
So let me take a stab at trying to define what play or creativity is, at least an aspect of it. Play is an unstructured, goal-less engagement. In that sense, sport is not play. Even though the interaction during sport could be play, the fact that there is a goal to it, right? You have to score higher than the other team, so on and so forth, is not what we mean by play here, or at least that's what we had initially discussed. Whereas something that typically doesn't come to your mind when you say the word play is, say something like writing a story, creative writing, or playing an instrument. That's literally why it's called playing an instrument, because it's exploring a domain without a goal being sought, right? With full engagement. So watching TV is not play. You're turning your mind off and just let images pass in front of your eyes, right? Where you can engage with the activity wholeheartedly, with full focus, and yet not have a goal. That is play, right? So let's maybe hear from Ritika and then Balaji as to how does play contribute to, and how does play contribute to imagination, learning, and education?
So, in my experience, one definition of play that I have found, which really hits home, is that play is the preparation for the unexpected. Okay, I'll repeat that. Play is the preparation for the unexpected. So when you're indulging in free play, you don't know what is going to happen, right? You're exploring as you go. As educators, you would have heard about this connection between the head, the heart, and the hands. With play, you're sort of bringing all of your entire being in that present moment. And that's what play does, right? It brings you in that present moment, and then you explore and prepare for the unexpected. And you sort of, this is where you're building your, all these fancy names that we call these things, right? 21st century skills bol do, ya fir emotional quotient bol do, whatever you can give it a fancy name. But these are the skills that you end up building through play. So I had a lot of pictures actually to show you. I don't know if the PPT can still be on, because I feel my language of show or connection is through pictures. So maybe Karthik, if you can just bring that up, that will be helpful. It will help you sort of follow my journey of play as well. Is it coming up? Okay, perfect. Do you mind if I take the next 5 or 10 minutes on this?
Go ahead.
All right, perfect. So when I talk about the importance of play, I think play to me also means connection. So this is a very common sight, or for people who live in my vicinity. I love climbing trees, okay? And this is something that I continued to do even after I had my son. In fact, my son is somewhere in those trees. You can probably see him, spot him. This is a very old picture. But for me, the important thing is connection, right? Whether it's connection with with nature or connection with another human being, the more spirited and, without any guile you are and uninhibited you are, the more you can express yourself. So that self-expression comes through play, and that's something which I feel a lot of our kids are missing out, because we are so scared that they will hurt themselves. But we are not scared that they will hurt themselves. We are scared that we will have to tend to them after that. We'll have to miss our office, we'll have to miss our work, and we'll have to help them. It's a very practical issue. I'm not blaming parents. My entire empathy is with the parent community. Hence, I started the Parent Academy. But the truth of the matter is, we are more worried about how we will tend to that injury or that issue if it comes up. So play, I think, also needs us to sort of let go of all of these fears that we've built in. So in my journey, I also took up storytelling. So when I became a parent, I wanted to really introduce my child to storytelling, because that dadi, nani, grandparent ka telling of stories has also gone away. Nowadays, dadi, nanis are also on Candy Crush. And sadly so. So what to do, right? How do you find that connection? And I found it very hard to find places where I could take him for these stories. So I said, fine, I will do a certification in storytelling. And that's when I started doing these classes for children in my area. And that was play for me. And that experience really taught me that children want to connect with adults. The kinds of things that those children used to come to tell me as a stranger who has no connection to them, they would not even be able to say to their parents. And again, hence I come back to the underlying theme, which is connection. Then I said, let's mix these two things. Why not bring the children into nature? They're not used to it, right? They're not used to taking off their shoes and walking on the grass. How many of you have done that? How many of you walked on grass without your shoes on? Very nice to know that, sir. So lovely, right? Because that's a skill that we are losing. We are losing that connection. We are losing that grounding effect of nature. So these used to be really interesting sessions that I used to do. Again, play, connection, all of that is the theme. And being plain silly, right? How does it matter what others think of me? I cannot be a movie star right now. I know my limitations. Many of us sitting here can't be NBA basketball players, but it doesn't mean we can't play basketball, right? I can't be an actor, but I can be an actor to like 10 children in my vicinity, and I can really bring up a story to life. Do you think this image any of those kids will forget? No, right? They will come back to this. This play was meaningful to them and it connected with them. So this is what play does. It really takes you into that journey of remembering, that memory of what you learned, right? And we were talking about, Dr. Kakoli Sen before this was talking about what is the outcome. If the outcome that you're looking at is long-term memory building, if the outcome is that the child should remember, they should learn those lessons and they should be able to recall them, 10, 15, 20 years down the line, then play is a lovely way to do it. This is the last one. I'll stop at this. I'll come back to this PPT again because I don't want to keep Balaji waiting. Play is exactly what started my journey into writing as well. I'm a children's author as well. I've written 5 books for children, for young readers. And had I not dabbled in play like this, I would not have had the courage to express myself in a poetic form, with children through stories. And this is what it gives you. Play also gives you courage. If you are courageous enough to fall, if you're courageous enough to appear foolish, if you're courageous enough to make mistakes, it gives you that sense of, achieving more. There's so much more that I can do, and there have been umpteen literature festivals that I've performed at, and so it's been a journey, and I will continue this in the next half.
Sure. Balaji, could we have a few words from you on this topic, please?
That's awesome.
How does imagination and how does play contribute to learning and education?
Yeah, that's wonderful, Ritika. You have touched upon a lot of interesting things that people connect with. I mean, play is the very fundamental thing about all the living things on earth. It is not just human being. It could be animals. It could be birds. It's like fish. Whatever living thing on earth. Without play, I don't think so that they could communicate well. Whatever we are talking about, the cognitive skills, the imagination skills, problem solving, expression, communication, I believe it starts with play. And I see that play is a universal language. And coming to imagination, I see that that's the highest form of freedom. That's my definition. Because you can really go wild, solving problems in your mind, creating mental images, blocks, and solve that problem. So I see that it is like largely connected with the play. So play is the fundamental thing, and from play we can cascade to many other layers. And I think that as we go, we'll take those questions.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Balaji. Let's move on to what does play develop? Why is it even useful, and why should we even bother? So, as Ritika just mentioned, play makes you resilient because it prepares you for the unexpected, right? It's a very fundamental life skill or a psychological trait that I think all of us need to develop. There will be unexpected events in life. Playing early on in the childhood, also as an adult, exposes you to unexpected situations and makes you resilient to those kind of situations. Also, as she showed some funny pictures, the fear of looking foolish in front of the public, right? That disappears. You're just playing. So what if someone judges you? They might judge you for 10 minutes and then they'll forget it. You will forget it as well, right? So the ability to take chances, not be afraid of looking foolish in front of a public, also gets developed through play.
That's where the difference is.
Sure.
They don't forget. That's the power of humor is such that when we watch a humorous piece, like it's a humorous movie, a comedy theater, or whatever like that, those really stick with us, and part of the reason is because of the happy hormones that get released in our body, and all of this adds to, there are many neurotransmitters in our brain, right? That is something that we understand, and when we are feeling these heightened emotions, those neurotransmitters get released. Dopamine, a lot of people know about it, has got very bad press, but there is another neurotransmitter which is called glutamate, which is also released on such release of dopamine when you realize that you're learning something new, something is enjoyable, and glutamate is related to memory, building your memory, so long-term memory. So this is all related. What you see and you laugh at, you don't forget. That's the whole idea.
So absolutely, those leave an impression in the minds. I'd like to, how many of you have watched the movie Moneyball? Moneyball, yeah. Right? I see a few hands raised. So that's about sport, obviously, but when engaging in sport as play, that also teaches children that skills are different from personality, right? If you want to win in a game of cricket, you'd better hire the best batsman even if this person is not particularly likable or easy to get along with. You hire, in this case, this is basically hiring for a person in the team. You hire for the skills, be able to separate that from attitude and behavior and personality and so on and so forth. Again, they may not consciously imbibe that, yes, this is what I've learned, but going through these motions is what stands them in better stead once they become corporate hiring managers, or whenever they start leading a team. Eventually they're able to separate performance at whatever is the given deliverable from attitude and from likability, right? As Balaji mentioned, play is also very evolutionarily innate. Animals play. You've seen videos and things of young chimpanzees, young monkeys, or elephants and so on also play. So it's, why should we stop playing? Animals play well into their adulthood and so on and so forth. So why do we say that, once you go to class 8, 9, 10, or maybe you go to undergraduate, you wear a shirt and trousers and now you're no longer allowed to play, right? Do animals stop doing that? Of course not. Any thoughts from Preetham?
Yeah, I mean, just to share a story, I work with adolescents, young adults, that's the segment. And in one of the trips, class trips, we had taken them out for a beach to do some stargazing, and it was like a camping night. And the children were all, I mean, these are all 13 to 18 kind of an age, 14 to 18 kind. And they were just sitting and chatting. It was evening time, 4-ish. And I was walking by and asked them, what are you guys doing? You're not playing anything? And they were like, no, the teacher said, don't take football, so we don't have the football here. We can't play. So I said, okay. And I just let them be, and I just walked about the beach. and I saw this coconut shell, you know, like a husk broken off. So I brought them back this half and husk. I said, here's our ball, and we can play on the beach. And they were like, is it? But this is just a husk clay. I mean, what can we do? It's just a shell. So we ended up playing there. We used that as a ball, and we started playing. And then they came up with little more creativity. They got the idea of, okay, this is how I need to think. They said, can we make this rule? So another thing is we don't give any fixed name to our games, because that would make them say that if I say cricket and there is 7 balls in an over, people will be like, no, cricket is played, every over has got only 6, right? But if I give a new name to cricket, then you can create any rules for all. You know, playing is something like that, right? Quidditch or something like that. You know?
Right.
So the story is, essence was that play is one of the easiest ways to build creativity, and especially play where the resources are less. Today you can order on Amazon anything you want, football, cricket, everything, but when the resources are less, your real creativity comes across.
Absolutely. And I'll just hand it over to you one moment before that. How many of you have recently observed a child, and a youngest child, say below the age of 5 or so on, and given them an expensive and highly complicated toy, which has a lot of moving parts, it makes sounds, it moves, does so on and so forth, versus probably in your own childhoods or in other situations you would have given a child just a ball of dough, some bits of string and some maybe ice cream sticks or so on, and say, you just go middle with this yourself. Which one do they enjoy more? The second one, definitely, right? So absolutely. One, they're obviously not expensive resources. It doesn't cost anything. And they are very abstract. When, in this case, we are talking about a toy. When a toy is built to achieve only a certain purpose, it's not abstract, then the children will explore it and then get tired of it very quickly. But you give them abstract toys which they can use their imagination to mold into whatever they like. That is when their creativity, imagination blossoms, right? Over to you, Mansi.
I agree with you. That's what we do in our schools. We create treasure out of trash. So that's what we have a program where we ask the parents to send some recycled material, and then we give it to the children to create their own stuff. So we give them a theme. For example, we are having a transportation theme. So they can create anything related to transportation using their own imagination. So I would just add on to what Captain Preetham said, a real incident which happened in my school. Before the Finland school, I was working for a Montessori school, and as most of us know, Montessori is structured. It has an order. Before a child takes another material, they need to tidy up and put the material back and then take another material. So one day, all of the students decided, the age group of 3 to 6, they asked us, can we take whatever we want? Well, the Montessori doesn't support that because it has to be organized, ordered. But we thought, okay, why not? So we just gave them the freedom to create whatever they wanted. And at the end, we were amazed. Till date, it's 10 years. We still talk to our seniors and remember what they created. They created a gigantic Christmas tree, labeled everything. When they were working, they blocked and said work in progress out of their own imagination. So that's what I'm trying to tell. We all are here to say that, yes, give them freedom. Free play is very, very important. You don't need to guide them all the time. Be an observer. When you see a child playing, just step back and observe, and you can observe so many things. They are developing, they have a cognitive development there. They are socializing, they are interacting, they are becoming confident. So I think play plays a very, very important part.
Absolutely. And we will, again, explore that a little further. But Ritika, would you like to finish some of the other points you'd like to make?
Yeah, I think I did mention a little bit about EQ earlier. If anybody here is familiar with Daniel Goleman's emotional quotient quadrants, the 4 quadrants, yeah. So they are very simple, right? So it's all about self-awareness, self-management, others awareness, and relationship management, right? They're very simple things. If you're looking at building EQ, it's not enough to tell your children that, why are you feeling this way? These are good feelings, these are bad feelings, or the labels that we put on these feelings are anyway very detrimental because they limit the child's thinking about those labels. Anger can be a useful emotion. It may not be rightly portrayed, and it has a place and a purpose, but that needs to be discussed, and all of that can be done through play. So if you're talking about self-awareness, then how to have your spatial awareness, how to navigate the world around you, navigate the playground. All of that is part of self-awareness, which comes under EQ. Then is self-management. So if I am in a sort of a, if I'm having these big emotions, I don't call them bad emotions, the big emotions, then how do I handle myself? How do I calm myself? How do I understand what my triggers are? All of this comes under self-management. Then other awareness of others, that is when you become, you build the foundation for empathy, right? So if you are facing, there is a new entrant in your new child in your school, do you go up to them and introduce yourself to them? Do you ask them how their day is and how they are feeling? All of this is part of other awareness of others. And then relationship management is a lot about how do you handle bullies? How do you handle, so see, play, if it's free play, then that is a very good opportunity for children to get out of the house and go into a different space which they are not familiar with. So like I said, it's preparation for the unexpected. You can't just simply say that, I'll give a very sheltered life to my child, and suddenly at 18 years of age, there you go, off you go on your own. That's going to be quite a shock to the child, and unless they've been given that practice, and childhood is that cushion, right? Our families, our homes are that cushion. That childhood period is that cushion where we can really even fall and make mistakes, and we won't bruise ourselves so badly that we can't fix it.
Absolutely. I think
so yeah, that's very important.
Giving them a very sheltered life and being not just helicopter parents, I've heard the term snowplow parents, right?
Which essentially dolphin parents, this parents, I think every animal is sort
now
of
a parent.
Is now a parent. I don't really understand what that's all about. I think we need to be commonsensical parents. That's the most important thing. Go back to your common sense, go back to, of course, we don't live in the same world. Like even at this age, I find it very hard to admit to myself that one day I will send my child by himself, go buy groceries. Like I can't fathom, like will he be able to cross the road? I'm still at that stage where I don't think I will ever be able to do that, but of course I will have to.
You wait till he figures out that you're using him as labor, right? And then refuses to do that.
And then he refuses to do that. But no, but the fact is that we have our fears, but wherever you can push your boundaries a little bit. And accept that free play is important. It's important, it's also cheap, right? Taking children to structured classes is very expensive. It's expensive on your time. You have to ferry them from one class to the other. You have to pay for those. And those have their own value. It's not like they don't have value, but free play is free. So,
right. And you would probably be doing, as parents, we would be doing a disservice to children by sheltering them from everything and then throwing them into the deep end of the pool once they are technically adults at 18 or once they graduate from undergrad and so on. So it's just like a vaccine, some mild exposure to discomfort early in their childhood through play is better for their development.
Not to forget, building their immunity is a big one.
Absolutely, absolutely. Balaji, any thoughts from you? We'll just come back.
Connected with play.
Sorry, we have lost you again.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, now we can hear you. Go on.
Yeah, Arun, what's the question?
So the question was, what does play develop? What qualities or what characteristics does play develop?
Largely, I see that the play develops curiosity. That's the very first thing. And in terms of the cognitive skills that we see, it helps develop art, music, different forms of expressions, and largely communication, because communication is the very key for play. So I see that play fosters all this stuff as they do.
Got it. Preetham, would you like to add something?
I mean, play is something that, like Balaji just mentioned, the three critical things of creativity, curiosity, and critical thinking. Because when they are playing, they are like that mini leadership qualities are developing. They have to evolve maybe something is missing. So whether it is youngsters, early childhood, or it is even for older teenagers, adolescents, young adults, having that play kind of environment actually builds these capacities. I mean, if I could share a story, that when we conduct our programs, we start off with playing. We have playing as our start point. And when we do that, initially the children would miss out because they didn't know that we were going to be having some fun stuff and playing. And soon they started realizing that they were missing out on it, because by the time they came late, we were already back into our classes or doing things. And now, instead of us chasing them, come to classes early, come to this early, they were chasing their parents and saying, no, I need to be there on time, I don't want to miss playing out. And this was not structured games. If it was structured games, maybe they wouldn't have had that kind of fun, because it was free play, semi-structured, they had some boundaries. It made it fun, and they wanted to be part of that social circle and environment.
Absolutely. Any thoughts on what are some common misconceptions about play that as adults or as educators we have?
The misconception I would say is that you don't need a lot of tools and items to play. You can just find, all you need is space. And I also say that for playing games, I'm not talking sports, it should be something where you don't require any special skills or talent, no special tools. It should be something that you can easily make it up or create together. So this would be one of the misconceptions. The second thing is, it doesn't have to be like don't have to take out time for it. Oh, I don't have time for play. It could be done in a classroom while you're studying. You can just take 5 minutes, 10 minutes out and create that kind of playing environment. Let's play something on the subject. Maybe they're studying geography. Can we just make a play? I'll put some chits now and let's create it. But this, in my thoughts, can only happen when the teacher has autonomy on their class, right? Not driven by syllabus, not driven by all things that they have to do, because this, unfortunately, is what drives teachers. They have to be accountable there. They don't have that kind of autonomy to introduce play, and that's something they could take it up.
Absolutely. Mansi?
I guess the biggest misconception is when children are playing, they think they're only playing, they're not learning anything. On the contrary, while they're playing, they're learning life skills. They are learning character virtues. They are learning a lot. So I think the biggest misconception is that they're just playing. There's no learning happening.
Not just no learning, it's that play is useless or even detrimental, right? So the common thing, okay, go do your work, stop playing, right? No, play is very important, and it probably makes them better at their work. It definitely makes them better human beings and so on. So these are some of the common misconceptions, and the admonition that often as adults we give to young adults, saying, haven't you grown up yet? Why are you playing with me, or why are you playing at this? Is very, so that infantilizes play and says this is only for children who don't know better, this is only for the young who are still wet behind the ears and are immature, right? It doesn't acknowledge the fact that play is very important for emotional and character development throughout your life. Ritika, Balaji?
My thought on this, as you said, and rightly pinned that one, people say play is only for children. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Please go on.
Yeah, sorry. So that goes with a whole lot of stuff. Play is only for children, and if it is for adults, what is the resource that we have got to play? Okay. So the flip side of it, what is that we are going to get out of that play? The cognitive skills, the developmental skills, the feedbacks, the communication, confidence. What is that we are going to get back from this play? So as adults, there is what we call as convergent thinking, and this is what happens, I believe. And as everyone pointed rightly on the open play system, where we foster more of what we call divergent thinking as we play. So that's my view.
Got it. Ritika?
Yeah, I think the same misconception that play and studies are they don't converge. I think that is one misconception, and that's a big reason for that is even in our timetables in schools, our sports periods and our study periods are very clearly defined. There is no overlap as such, and it is not traditionally thought that you can bring play into the classroom. It sounds very frivolous. So in the second half of my journey, so before, as I mentioned, I was working in the US and the IT industry, and then when I joined the EdTech sector in 2011, it's been about 13, 14 years now, that time it was even less heard of, having games and play in the classroom, and that's when I started with maths EdTech. So I've been working in maths EdTech all my life, all the years that I've spent in the EdTech sector. I've worked in personalized and games-based learning, so that's the area, one-on-one learning that I focus on. I don't really relate so much to one-to-many kind of, whiteboards and all of that, because I just feel that loses the touch, right? It's just, converting textbook into, digital information, and I have personally not been able to connect with that. But the amount of transformations I have seen, because I worked with children all the way from the most elite private schools in India, in Asia, in Europe, Middle East, and then I've also worked with slum children of who are non-schooled or dropouts, or government school children, or children of migrant laborers who don't get to have a consistent education. And I've seen games and play do wonders for them, not just in their confidence, but in their actual academic outcomes. So you can't really, this is something that you can't miss, and it's not something that you can easily dismiss. And this is where I think we need to really look at play in a much more holistic way, and I think the best way to do it, everybody sitting here in this room, if today you commit to becoming more playful in your lives, I think that itself will be a great change, because it will start with you. You can't be like sitting like a dictator and expecting everybody around you to be playful. You have to really embody that. You have to smile, you have to laugh, you have to be committed to play, and you have to really enjoy it, which you will if you give it that much time.
It will definitely teach us to take ourselves a little less seriously.
Yes, absolutely. Take yourself less seriously, and it will also do one more thing, which is an added side benefit. Let's say you want your child to be indulging in free play. If your parents hear of young children, it's not possible to constantly monitor them, right? And you can't be looking after their safety. So you will, what will you do? You'll build a community, right? You'll talk to your neighbor, you'll make friends, you'll do something to build a community so that you can together, raise children that are more attuned to playing and more attuned to being out there rather than, I don't know if anybody here has watched that, there's this advertisement that came some years ago. It's called the Indoor Generation. If you have not watched it, it's on YouTube. It's a 3-4 minute video. Just see how much we've become this indoor generation and what kind of catastrophic effect it is having on our health. So if we can build communities that support each other, if I am busy today here, I know that there's somebody looking after my kid and he can indulge in free play without me being worried. That's what you sort of leverage community for. So that's an added side benefit of this whole thing.
Absolutely. Sorry.
I just wanted to add here, it's really sad to see sometimes when you give children a chance to choose what they want to do, they don't know how to choose, because they always have a structured play-way method. So in our school, when they come in the morning, we ask them to have a free play for 10 minutes. And when you tell them, choose whatever you want to do, they say, I don't know what to do, because they're always told what to do. That's why free play plays a very, very important role. If you have a toddler at home, if you have young children at home, go today and ask them, choose whatever you want to do. See, how do they reciprocate to it? Are they able to choose for themselves what they would like to do? If they are able to do it, yes, you are building a future citizen ready, a holistic development of the child. But if they don't know what to choose, then I think we need to, as educators and as parents, we need to reflect back. Where is the gap?
Absolutely. To be honest, unfortunately, a lot of teenagers, middle school, I have seen examples where when they are asked to play with their friends and buddies, choose whatever you want to play, they invite everyone over to watch TV or to play a video game, right? Which is very disheartening, honestly. I will just move on to the role of adults or parents or teachers in fostering this kind of play. Any thoughts from you, Preetham?
Yeah, I mean, I also conduct programs on parent empowerment, which is the missing link in good education. Because no matter how good the teachers or the education body does its work, unless the parent body is also educated, they are also told about what is required in a healthy development. Because the teachers are taking care of the child at the school front, right? The students have been told how to be, but when they come back to the home environment, it is completely undone. Whether you're building, leadership skills, a great champion's mindset, gets undone by the parents unless they are also evolving and they are also doing the work on themselves. Then you can create a champion breed of people who can really rise up to great leadership. And as parents, then it comes down to parents on how they're using their time. Many times I've seen it's simply because they don't know what to do. It's not that they don't want to do, they don't know what to do. And a simple education, you know what, have you tried this, to do this in your free time instead of watching TV? Oh, okay, I didn't even know we could do that. Yes, you could do something like that. And that kind of parent education, if schools can get into, I think that would be a game changer, both for them, because it will ease the load of the kind of children who are coming in, well slept, well eaten, so that they are not sleepy in class, they are not, distracted, and that will be good for the entire ecosystem of education.
How do you fit something like this into the traditional structured format of the day that we have at school, at grade school?
I mean, in a traditional system, you could invite parents on a monthly basis together, not for the parent-teacher meeting of, your child needs to work on this, not those kind of things, but on helping them, digital media, how are you guys tackling as a holistic bunch, right? Okay, next month, playing, what are you guys doing? This is what our thoughts are, kind of implemented. Mm-hmm. Next month, these are the learning challenges, generically, not subject-wise or not for their child, right? Or some discipline issues or something else, not waking up on time. What can parents do? Because that education, they are not having it, right? They don't know what to do. Here and there, probably they will get some information from friends. But that parent education can ease their burden there back home, so that the teacher and the school can do a better role of building the leaders.
Absolutely. I think parents, adults, stop building your child's resume, right? Stop looking at them as just a bunch of CV points. This kid now plays 3 instruments, speaks 4 languages, does well at this sport and that sport and stuff. They are human beings at the end of the day. And let them experience happiness and joy and evolve as human beings. Ritika, Mansi, do you want to make a strong point?
Yeah, if we can put on the PPT, that will be helpful. Karthik from the PPT. So the question was the role of parents, and I think here I'm a lot about action, right? So I love to give action points, because then what's the point, right, of listening to so many people? Some of the action points that are coming to my mind in terms of roles of people is, please save onto your Amazon cardboard boxes at home. Don't dispose of your Amazon cardboard boxes. And I can attest to the fact, my son has been handling scissors since he was 3 years old, and a full adult, proper big size scissor. We started under supervision, but of course, very soon he took to it, and he has created some real good masterpieces out of Amazon cardboard boxes, including like a fully functioning car with like axle and wheels and things like that. And beyond that also, so many things can be made. So if you're really looking to what to do as parents, how to indulge in play, don't get rid of your Amazon cardboard boxes. Another thing you can do is, if you like playing card games, for example, why not place the card game next to your bedside, so that at the very end of the day, when you're just ready to pack up, why not just play a quick game of Uno or whatever it is, whatever that you like, and because it's right there and it's a relaxing thing, it will get you, in that mode of being very, I guess, relaxed, and you'll have a good night's sleep. So that's another thing that you can do. Some other things that I talk about with parents, I don't know if you can see. So my books, actually, it was a very interesting thing. I'm not a trained writer. I don't have any literature degree as such. I'm an engineering background person. But I started telling stories to my child because when I was reading to him when he was a kid, I figured that this is a very counterproductive activity, because when you read, you have to keep the lights on. And if the lights are on, the child is not going to fall asleep. So I said, this is going to be difficult. Let me turn off the lights and let me start making up some stories. And when I started cooking up these stories, suddenly I felt these characters are making sense. And the story is very enjoyable and we are having fun. And so I used to put him to bed and then go into the other room and write the story. And that itself started my journey of writing, and hence these books came into play. So I think this is also play, right? Telling stories, making up characters, all of these things that we can very well do, which I think, again, doesn't take much from you, right? Just takes creativity. So these are some of the newer books that and then this is from my other aspect of my life, apart from the Parent Academy. Like I said, I work with a maths edtech company. It's a UK-based company. And you can see that I've clearly, there's a whole range of students, whole age group of students across kindergarten to grade 10 that I've worked in, and I've seen that games and looking at maths, for example, because this is a mathematics program, looking at maths from the lens of gamification and games and leaderboards and medal points is all so exciting. And and this has been around. We are talking about AI will do this, AI will do that. This program is now 15 years old and it has AI in the back end. So AI has been doing this. It has been transforming learning around the world, and it is only going to amplify. The effect is only going to be amplified in the next few years. And hence, from all of this, my journey started in terms of the Parent Academy as well. So for parents, because this question is what can parents do, I have a lot of resources that are free for parents who are here, or you can take these resources. The Parenting Truth and Dare podcast that I host, it's on Spotify. It's a free podcast, of course. Anybody can listen to it. There are more than 70, almost 80 episodes on this. And this is a free resource, so why not make use of it? theparentacademy.co, which is my website, I'm putting on a lot more resources. It's still getting built, but again, a lot of free resources will be on there. And then this inner circle community, if anybody is interested, this is also free. There is no charge to come and be part of it. This is where I talk a lot about conscious parenting, around what we can do around play, how we can introduce harmonious relationships, or how we can enjoy harmonious relationships with our children. So again, if you're a parent and you have children in this age range of, let's say, 3 to 12, and you're looking for this, even older can benefit, but largely focusing on the middle years, then this is going to be an excellent free resource for you.
Last few words from you.
Okay, we only have 1 minute left, so I think I'll be quick on that. I think parent involvement is very, very important, and nowadays it's very easy to give your child a gadget. They're not eating, give a gadget, they'll watch something and eat. Instead of making them play, because then they have to tidy up, they have to do a lot of things. So the easy way for parents to get away is give gadget. I think we need to take that away. As Ritika said, don't throw your Amazon boxes. And that's what we also do. We do a lot of project-based learning with children. So we involve the parents in their learning, which is very important. And nowadays we have young parents who really don't know how to take care of the children, what activities to do with them, and especially the time constraint, because both the parents are working. And the child is most of the time with nannies. And for nannies also, the easy way is give the gadget and they'll do anything. That's why you see children are playing less and they're on gadgets more. So I think we need to have a lot of strategies, as she mentioned, to involve the parent in their child's learning, and that will make a difference.
Okay, thank you so much. We are at the end of time. I'll just take a quick minute to summarize the conversation. So thank you so much to my panelists. We spoke about what play and creativity was, what are the traits or characteristics that play develops, including resilience to the unexpected, resilience against fear of looking foolish, distinguishing skills from personality and so on. We spoke about how play is very innately evolutionary and even animals play, so hence why not let children play as well. How imagination builds storytelling abilities. The misconceptions of play, including resources required in terms of time, money, space, equipment, even specific or specialized skills that are used for for play. None of these are actually a constraint. You could definitely enjoy playing even without all of them. And then the role of parents, teachers, educators in nurturing play and encouraging play, even with very simple tools and utilities that they can use at home. Thank you.
I mean, like I keep saying that play is so important even for adults. We have created a playing for adults kind of a community in Pondicherry. It started off with 4 to 6 adults who would come, and these were all for 21 plus. And we said even adults need a space to play these kind of free playing games, so they know how to do this. And today it's over 150 people, and at least 10, 15 to 20 people show up to play. And if you all are open to it now, and if there's time from the organizers, I would like to invite you for a very simple, I'm not going to make you run, standing where you are, and how you can use this for also building a particular skill set in your children. I'll tell you about it at the end, but let's end it with playing if everybody is open to it.
Sounds
How many
good.
of you are open to playing 5 minutes?
For 5 minutes, yes.
Superb, superb. I mean, bring the child out. It's a very simple game. And
You
we
just
will
heard an hour-long lecture about how you should play, so now play.
And after this, if everybody is okay, I would like to recite a short poem on play. Is that okay?
Don't ask me.
Oh, the organizer. We have a few minutes.
Great.
We have time, 5 minutes? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would request everybody just to make a circle, maybe use some of the tables itself, no need to move them, but around it, and we'll make a circle. The playing period